Hello everyone. Today we'll start with a new technique that is called as transform and conquer technique. In the name itself it is there, transform. So this method is mainly based on the idea of transformation. What do you mean by transformation? It is just conversion. It is not. Transformation is nothing but conversion from one method to another method. Okay, here let me come with the definition of this one. This transformation and the transform and conquer method works as two-stage procedure. One is transformation and one is conquering. See, transform and conquer technique. The first step is transformation stage and the second step is conquering stage. Let me first tell you what do you mean by this transformation stage. Here in this transformation stage, the problem instance is modified into another problem instance for some reason. Okay, that will get you the perfect solution. See, how means, see for example, I have to just multiply 110 and 010. Okay, I'll just take the binary numbers. I want to just multiply 110 and 010. It is bit difficult for someone, means it is not easy for everyone to just multiply these binary digits, is it not? So what you will do, you have to just change, you have to transform this into your actual number digit and then you multiply, again convert that into binary. That is called as your transformation stage. Okay, here what is the binary means what is the digit format of this one? The numerical transformation of this is 6 and the numerical transformation of this is 12. Okay, I'll just do 6 into 2 is 12 and then convert this 12 into binary. How you'll convert this 12 into binary? It is very easy, is it not? So by using algorithm, or I'm just showing you the method, that's it. 12, that is 0, 2, 3, it is 0, then 2, 1, it is 1. 1, 1, 0, 0. 1, 1, 0, 0 is the answer. Is it not? So here given binary numbers, that is 110 and 010. If you feel difficult to multiply these binary digits, now I'm just converting this binary digit into numerical digits, that is 6 and 2. That is called as your transformation stage. I'm just transferring this binary into numerical. Okay, and here itself the answer is there. Second is conquering stage. Conquering stage is in order to just get the solution for that one. Okay, this is the solution for this conquering stage. Here I got the solution, then I have converted and I got the proper solution for this numbers. Is it not? This is called as the conquering stage. These are the two main stage we have in transform and conquer technique. Okay, do you understand? This transform and conquer technique is mainly based on the transformation. What do you mean by this transformation? It is transferring a problem instance from one state to another state. Okay, that is called as a transformation. In order to just get the solution easier, in a easier way, we have to just transform the problem instance into some other and then get the solution. But one more thing you have to remember, here the problem should not change. Okay, whatever the result it is getting, the same result it has to get. The problem should not change, just you are transforming it to some other form, that's it, but not for the different problem. The problem meaning should remain same while transforming. That you have to remember. Fine. Here in this transform and conquer, we have three major techniques. Although we have three major variations. Yes, the three major variations of your transform and conquer technique is instance simplification, representation change, and problem reduction. Okay, by using these three techniques, you can just perform your transform and conquer. First, I'll go with instance simplification. What do you mean by this instance simplification? This transformation means the transformation of an instance to a simpler or more convenient instance of the same problem is called as instance simplification. Here the very good example for this one is pre-sorting. What do you mean by this pre-sorting? See, for example, I have a binary search. Okay, I have a binary search algorithm. In this binary search algorithm, what you have to do, you have to find out the key element. Is it not? We know in order to find out the key element, the binary search elements, the array element should be in a sorted order. But it is not in a sorted order, but they have just given an unsorted array and they're asking you to find the binary search. Okay, that is impossible, is it not? In order to overcome that one, we use this transformation technique. What I'll do, I'll just transfer the unsorted array into sorted array. I'm not changing the elements of the array. Okay, see, for example, the array elements are given as 20, 30 and 10. Now you have to just find out the key element, but this is not possible because it is unsorted. So what I'll do, I'll just make it 10, 20 and 30. I'm not changing any of the elements, I'm just changing the order, that's it. This is called as transformation. Okay, this is instance simplification. What do you mean by that? Transformation to a simpler or more convenient instance of the same problem. More convenient and simpler form. I have just transferred. This is instance simplification. Okay, next I'll go for the representation change. What do you mean by this representation change? Here the transformation to a different representation of the same instance. For this one, usually we'll go with the tree examples. Heap or the heap sort is the best example. For this one, I'll just take some simple tree. See, 10, 20 and 30. This is the given problem instance. Okay, but here if you want to construct a heap means here you need to follow some rules. Always the root node should be higher than the leaf nodes for heap. Okay, so here this one I'll just apply the transformation so that I'll write 30, 10 and 20. See, the nodes have not changed. 10, 20, 30, here also 10, 20, 30, but the representation has changed. Here 10 is the root node, but here 30 is the root node. This is called as representation change. You can just change the representation, but you have to retain the same instances. Okay, that is called as representation change. Next, the last one is the problem reduction. What do you mean by this problem reduction? This is transformation of a instance to different problem for which an algorithm is already available. What is the meaning of this problem reduction? For example, I have one problem. It is very difficult to find out the solution for that problem. So what you have to do is you have to just check the similar problem which is giving the same answer for that for which the algorithm is already available. See, for example, I'll take LCM. Okay, I want to just find out the LCM of two numbers. Let us assume it is a bit difficult to find out the LCM for two different numbers. So what I'll do, GCD program we already have an algorithm for GCD and it is very easy also. So what I'll do, I'll use GCD in order to find out the LCM of two numbers. Okay, in order to find out LCM of two numbers, I'll use GCD, but the answer I'll get the same as LCM. This is called as problem reduction. Okay, if the given problem is bit difficult, then you have to just go for the different problem for which an algorithm is already available, but the output should not be changed from the original problem. This is called as the problem reduction. Is it clear? Yes, three different methods or the variations: instance simplification, representation change and problem reduction. Okay, fine. Now in this transform and conquer technique, we are going to study heap sort. Heap and heap sort. This is the main thing we are going to study with respect to your transform and conquer technique. Now let me see what do you mean by heap first. Okay, you know binary tree, you know complete binary tree. all those things, AVL trees, all those things you know. What do you mean by a heap tree? Okay, first we see what do you mean by heap tree, and then we'll go for heap sort. That is next method. First we'll check what is this heap. What do you mean by heap? A heap is a complete binary tree or an almost complete binary tree satisfying two conditions: the tree's shape requirement, and the second one is the parental dominance requirement. You all know what do you mean by complete tree or an almost complete binary tree, is it not? See here, I'll just show you what do you mean by a complete binary tree. See, for example, if I have a tree, all its level are complete. Okay, means all the nodes should be present, no node should be absent over here. If the tree is complete with all the leaf nodes, then that is called as complete binary tree. Almost complete binary tree means only you can give exemption for the right node or the right leaf, right hand side leaf. See, only this can be missing, but if it is not there, this is not almost binary tree. Okay, if here this is not there, even this is also not almost binary tree. Only if the right subchild or the right leaf node is missing, then it is called as almost complete binary tree. Okay, a heap is either a complete binary tree or a almost complete binary tree. It may be a complete or almost complete binary tree, but it must satisfy two conditions to say it as a heap. What are those two conditions? The tree's shape requirement. What do you mean by the tree shape requirement? Here, the binary tree is essentially complete. As I have told, this is the shape requirement, tree shape requirement. Okay, what is the meaning of that? All its levels are full except possibly the last level. All its level are full. See, this is first level, this is second level, this is full, and this is last level, except possibly the last level. Means this may be filled or only one right leaf may be missing. Okay, where only rightmost leaves may be missing. This is the tree shape requirement. This is the first thing, tree's shape requirement. And the second one is the parental dominance requirement. What do you mean by parental dominance requirement? The key at each node is greater than or equal to the key at its children. Okay, what is the meaning of that? The root node should be always greater than all other nodes. So I'll just take 100 for this one. Okay, then here this is root node and these are the children, is it not? For example, here I have some 20 and here I have some 30. So this root node must contain the value which is greater than these two. Okay, but it should be less than this because parental dominance. So root node should be always greater. This node should be less than the root node but greater than the child nodes. So I can have anything 50, 60, 70 like that. So I'll just put 50 for this one. Okay, and then here next, what is the next thing you have to do? Here same thing, here also, is it not? I'll just take some 10 and 20. So here these are the child nodes, so its parent should be greater than these two or less than this one. Let me take 60 for this. Okay, see here it is satisfying the parental dominance requirement. What do you mean by parental dominance? The key at each node is greater than or equal to the key at its children. The key at each node is greater than or equal to its children. Key means the root node, 100. Your children are 50 and 60. 100 is greater than 50 and 60. Yes. Now this 20, 30. Key is 50. This 50 is greater than 20 and 30. Yes. Here also 60 is the root node, key node. Then 10 and 20. 10 and 20. 60 is greater than 10 and 20. Yes. It is satisfying the parental dominance. Then I can say this as a heap tree. Okay, if it satisfies both the conditions successfully, then I can say this is a heap tree. Okay, now let us see the properties of heap tree. Properties of heap. What are the properties of heap? Properties of heap. First one, there exist exactly what? Exactly one binary tree. Exactly one complete or it is a partially complete binary tree. Okay, and its length is calculated as log n to base 2. If you are constructing a heap, it must contain exactly one complete binary tree. It should not contain one or more than one binary tree. That is the very first property of heap. It must contain exactly one complete binary tree. And the second property, what is the second property? The root of a heap always contains its largest element, as I have explained here. Okay, root must contain its largest element. This is the root node. It is consisting of the largest element of all these nodes. That is the second property. This is very, very important. Okay, and then third property. What is the third property? Here, a node of a heap considered with all its descendants is also a heap. What is the meaning of that? Each subtree must be heap. What is the meaning of this? For example, here I'll take 50, 20 and 30 is the subtree of this tree. See, even this also should satisfy these two conditions. That is tree shape requirement and parental dominance requirement. Each and every subtree of a heap should be a heap again. Are you getting? And this is one more subtree. 60, 10 and 20. It may have 60 and 10. Even this is also correct. Only rightmost is missing. Is it not? So all the subtrees must be heap. This is the third main property of heap. Then the fourth one. What is the fourth one? A heap can be implemented as an array by recording its element in the top-down fashion. For example, this is a heap. I have to record this in an array. You have to come from top-down fashion. That is, first root node 100 should be stored. Then the left node 50. Yes. Then the right node 60. Sorry. Then 50. Then it's left. It is 20. Then 30. Next I'll go for the right side. It is 60. It is 10 and 20 in top-down fashion. Okay. If you want to just a heap is implemented, if the heap can be implemented as an array, always you have to just go in top-down fashion. Okay. And you have to just give the heap's element the positions from 1 to n. So this is the fourth property. This is the fifth property. Parental node key will be in first n by 2 positions of the array, while the leaf key will be in last n by 2 position. Sorry. Yes, here I have just show you. Actually, top down fashion means here I have to just take first 100, then 50, then the right 60. Now I'll come for the left of this node, that is 20, then 30, then I'll come here 10 and then 20. Sorry, this is the actual representation of array. This is how you have to just represent child. 2i plus 2 is the right child. Are you getting? Yes, first we'll store the left, then right. So only 2i plus 1 is left. I plus 2 is right child. Okay, these are the properties you have to remember for heap sort. This is very, very, very important. Properties of heap, the definition and the properties of heap. Okay, now in this heap we have two types. What are the two types? Max heap and then min heap. What do you mean by this max heap? Max heap is nothing but in the root node. If you construct a heap, then in root node always you must have the maximum elements. Max heap, all the root nodes must contain the higher value than its leaf node. Okay, that is called as max heap. What do you mean by max heap? Max heap is nothing but the maximum heap. Okay, in this all the root nodes must contain the greater values than its leaf node, or sorry, than its children. Okay, than its children. That is called as max heap. Vice versa, that is min heap. This is the minimum heap. What do you mean by this? The parent nodes. Okay, the parent nodes must contain what? The minimum value than its children. It should contain the minimum value than its children, and always the root should be the minimum number. Okay, root should be the minimum number, and then this is the next minimum. See, this is the root and these are the what? Children. These two are greater than this one. So this is min heap. Root or the parent node must contain the value which is less than its children. That is called as min heap. These two are very important. Next I am going to just do the problem on max heap and min heap. How to construct the max heap and min heap from the given array. Okay, is it clear? Max heap means always the parent nodes must contain the greater value than its children. Min heap means always the parent node must contain the value which is less than its children. That is max heap and min heap. Okay, in the next video we'll see how to construct this max heap and min heap. Fine, thank you.